Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now I know the last couple of videos have been processor focused, but about a week ago something very interesting caught my attention. Something I had no idea even existed. An Intel CPU that could be upgraded through an online paid service. The CPU in question is the G6951, a socket 1156 processor released in 2010 to select markets and primarily featured in a few Gateway and Acer systems. At the time it cost around $90 or £60 when bought in bulk batches and was pretty much the G6950 with a twist. So the G6951 was essentially like those binned AMD chips that were sold as triple cores because the fourth core didn't work. In this case though, if you had a system with a G6951 CPU in it, along with a motherboard featuring the DH55TC or DH55PJ chipset, you could buy an upgrade card from Intel for $50, run the special downloadable software, and in return you'd have just gained an extra megabyte of cache as well as hyper-threading, giving your Pentium the same performance as the i3-530. The clock speed stayed the same at 2.8 GHz though. As you can imagine, reactions to this scheme were varied, with some questioning why you should have to pay to unlock features that are essentially already there. Others saw past that, and because these CPUs were part of budget systems, users looking for extra performance a couple of months down the line could have it without having to open up the case and replace, ideal for those who didn't really know too much about PCs. To some people, a 25% performance increase for $50 may seem like an attractive proposition. Sure, the i3-530 could have been bought for cheaper than the cost of the Pentium plus the upgrade, but for the target market, this probably wouldn't have been a consideration. This was more about extending the life of a machine after some time, but from what I can see, the Intel upgrade service is now discontinued and has been since 2011, just a year after it and a few other upgradable processors were launched. This was like DLC but for hardware. So I myself couldn't find one of these, as I don't believe the UK was one of the selected markets, but I put the call out and an American man named John was kind enough to send over a few performance figures. He bought the G6951 on eBay as part of a motherboard bundle, and it's never been upgraded due to the service being shut down. So what I thought we'd do would be to take the performance result that he's been kind enough to send over and compare them to that of the i3-530, which the Pentium G would have almost matched after its $50 overhaul. Just to be sure, we've underclocked the i3 to 2.8 GHz from 2.93 as well. Close enough, right? The card used with the Pentium was the 2GB RX 460, so that's what I've used too. So first of all, with Geekbench 4, the Pentium scored 3133 in the multi-core test, and the i3-530 replicating the unlocked Pentium scored 4037. In the handbrake encoding test, the G6951 hit 1294, with the i3 coming in at 1398. Remember, this obviously doesn't represent an unlocked G6951 with exact accuracy, but it should give you a pretty good idea. So as for gaming, well, the following will all run at 900p resolution. Both CPUs are a bottleneck here. Fallout 4 first, with the ultra settings to achieve 32 with the non-upgraded Pentium. This was increased to 40 with our i3-530 replicating the unlocked G6951. A decent start and a nice boost to the results. The game goes from bordering the line of playable to sitting some way above it thanks to hyper-threading, which as I mentioned would have also been unlocked with the $50 Pentium upgrade. Hyper-threading of course is a huge help to a lot of games these days. CSGO and the Pentium with the 460 averaged out at 100 FPS. Counter-Strike being of course a fairly easy game to run, with the source engine being fairly CPU dependent. So of course we saw an increase of over 30 FPS with the i3. The game was also at the highest settings for testing purposes, but for real world competitive play you would probably want to turn stuff down to maximise FPS. Finally, it's GTA 5, and with the Pentium the average came in at 30 FPS with, I'm told, a lot of stutter. Something that the $50 upgrade and hyper-threading unlock would have helped out hugely with, as represented with our i3 which sat at around 40, with no problems to report. So the G6951, Intel's experimental pay-to-play at higher frame CPU that, although wasn't targeted to gamers, would have been capable of gaming no doubt, especially if it was upgraded. Would I have paid the $50 though? Well, as a PC builder, no. But had I not known then what I know now, and was just a regular everyday user, then maybe. Especially if I was a home user whose PC was getting a little sluggish. Having said that, it isn't hard to see why this idea never really took off. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I wanted to make this because I found the whole concept interesting, so thank you all so much for watching. As always, like the video if you enjoyed it and you found it interesting, dislike it if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and as always, I hope to see you all in the next one.